You realize that the person you know has a problem in their thinking and their feelings that's causing them to go down this road of being unproductive. So then they're going down this road, and you're like, you know what? I want to help them. So then you go to help them, but then you find as you go to help them, it seems like what you share with them doesn't stick and they don't act like they're motivated. So inside everybody's heads, there's a filter. So let's say you have something good you want to teach people. Now, I know you know about this, that you know about filters, that people filter information, but let's do a deeper dive today so you can be a better teacher in helping people open their mind so that they can improve. Because part of being a great teacher is if you just throw positive at people, it doesn't mean it gets in. You know this if you have kids. You can throw positive at a kid and you have to say it like 1,000 times before they hear you. Sometimes even your spouse, you're like, okay, how many times do I have to tell my spouse before they get this? Right? Like how many times? And you think because you said it, like it got in. No, no, no. People have these thick filters, some people really thick, but it blocks good information from getting in. It just blocks it. So then the person doesn't have any motivation to act on the things that you shared with them. Okay, so I want to make sure I'm not going to muddy this up for you. So let me go back to this. You realize that the person you know has a problem in their thinking and their feelings that's causing them to go down this road of being unproductive. So then they're going down this road, and you're like, you know what? I want to help them. So then you go to help them, but then you find as you go to help them, it seems like what you share with them doesn't stick and they don't act like they're motivated. Like they're not doing the things that you asked them to do or you shared with them because you're a good person and you want to help people do good. And you recognize and they recognize that they're going down a troubled path of being unproductive, so you're trying to help. So this is what I'm getting to here is this problem with dealing with people who have filters, thick filters. How do you teach somebody who's got thick filters? And what do you do if this person is you? That you're so hard-headed that this positive, good things that you learn are not quite getting in and helping. Like you keep going back to your old behaviors. You see, with this positive around this hard-headed person, they drift back to their old behaviors because this new idea can't get in. You've seen this happen. You probably have had this happen to you, huh? Right? Let me just ask the question. Have you ever learned something good and it's on your mind, but it never really gets in your mind? Huh? Have you ever had that happen? I've had that happen. And if you've had that happen, click the raise the hand button because I know we're not alone on this. Like you're not. Oh, okay. Just so you know, you're not alone. Like the whole screen is lighting up with raised hands. Just because you learned something and you sat in a class, it now is on your mind, but it's not in your mind because there is a filter that's blocking it that still sees that what this is doesn't have any credibility and it doesn't have any validity and it doesn't have any value. It's just good information. And then you go through the next couple of days and this information, it almost feels like it kind of falls off the top of your head. And it was a good class, right? But it didn't change your life. You're still the same person, still hard-headed like you've always been. Or they are still hard-headed like they have been before. So this is not something that's rare. This is very common, especially if you are attempting to help a friend or help a family member or help a coworker. I mean, you're going to find that you go to share and you think, oh, good, I told them. And somehow you think because you've told them that now this is going to miraculously change them. It doesn't happen that way. Okay, so how do you get these filters to drop? How do you get this information to get in? So let's walk through a couple of things here. So there's good information. That's all these little plus signs, right? So on the inside, you see what their star is. You have to ask them what they want. When you ask the person, what do you want? And when they go to share this, a filter opens up for this to be shared. Okay, now I don't want you to miss this, so let's back up here. You can share information with people, but it doesn't mean it gets in their mind. It'll be on their mind. And you'll follow up with them in a couple of days, and they will have not done anything. They didn't do anything because you were sharing information with them, because you realized and they realized that they're going down this unproductive road. And you're like, oh, I got some advice for you. Let me help you. And you go to share it with them like, hey, you know what you ought to do? Hey, you know what you ought to do? Hey, you know what you ought to do? And you think you've saved their day, like they're going to be good. But after a couple of days, it drifts off their mind, and they actually sometimes won't even remember what you said. Your kids won't remember what you said. Your spouse won't remember what you said because it didn't get in. It got on their mind, but you know how that goes. Boom, it floats off. Okay, so how do you get this in there to help? Well, you have to open them first. So I'm going to give you a really big secret about coaching, mentoring, training, public speaking. If you just disseminate information, you're just throwing stuff at people's heads, and it's not doing anything. It's not doing anything. It inspires them for about 12 hours, and then boom, it's gone. Do you really want to be that kind of person, or do you want to be the kind of person who opens the mind so that this can go in, right? Right? That's what you want. You want to be able to make an influence that creates an impact. Impact means you're able to get the information in their mind so that it's on their mind all the time. That's the ticket right there. But it's like, Kirk, what are you going to do? Teach us how to brainwash people? No, I'm going to teach you some really good thought processes in how you teach, how you help, how you talk to your friend, how you talk to your child, how you talk to your spouse, because most people have not been taught how to teach. Talking to somebody is not teaching. Giving advice is not teaching. That's not what that is. That's just information, is disseminating information. That's all it is. And it doesn't change people. It causes them to go, whoa, that's a good idea. Anyway, a couple of days later, boom, it's gone. Now, I've been teaching for 17 years. You know, people all over the world, you get it. I teach a lot. So I found that I got tired of people saying, oh, you know what? I don't know. That really didn't do anything to me. I was like, what? How come it didn't do anything to you? It's like, I don't want to be that kind of person where I'm just spewing information and it's not doing anything. I don't want to do that. So I've learned that I need to find out what they want. Who are they? And what do they want? and what have they tried? You see these three? How do they see themselves? What have they tried? And what do they want? So there's three questions before I even ever start giving advice, or I'm going to share my opinion, or I'm going to share my, my experiences, and hopefully there's some value there to the person. But I've learned that if I don't ask about one of these three or two of these three, if I don't open their mind, this information is not going to go in. So you're talking to your friend and your friend says, "Oh, things are so bad. It's not working. My marriage isn't working. My job isn't working." And you're like, "Okay, I got advice for you." And instead of just bam, bam, what, trying to bam, bam, stick this advice all over them, after today, you're going to be a lot smarter. So no more throwing advice just because somebody brought up that they have a challenge, because it doesn't go in. You got that? Tell me you got that. It doesn't just go in. Click the raise the hand button if you get it. It doesn't just go in. It doesn't. There's not like some little secret, like Star Wars little opening where you shoot the missile in and blow up the whole Death Star. It's not there. So how do you get this in there so it can make a difference in this person's life? So you pose questions that are very pointed. How do you say that? It's very they're very direct. No, you're not being direct. I don't want to say it that way. Questions that are on point. There we go. You ask the person, "Hey, what is it that you want to have happen?" So as soon as they start to talk about what they want to have happen, they have to move this filter out, because they're starting to open up to share this. And then when you ask them a question about themselves, "Hey, how are you doing with this? Are you, where are you doing good, and where's it not going good?" They got to open up this wall, because now they're going to share this. And then you ask them, "Hey, what have you been trying to get to this goal? What have you been trying to do?" That opens up this one. And now you have an opened minded person, because you got curious of what's going on inside their engine.